Hey, what's going on, guys? It's your boy, Icro Gaming, and welcome back to another episode of R4 Ridge Racer Type 4. Okay, this is it, guys. This is it. The this is going to be the final recording of the core game. Seems like only yesterday when I started this, but this is it. This is it, guys. This is it. And this is a tier 2 or tier 3. I always say that. Tier 3 run. I keep thinking 0, 1, 2, not 1, 2, 3. Not today, Mappy. I can't believe it, guys. This is it. And now, even though this may be the last recording of the core game, like the Grand Prix runs, there will be four videos after this, and those will be the extra trial runs. The only thing is the hardest. Whoa, excuse me. So the way I'm going to structure the extra trial videos is usually, since it's just one race, I'm still trying to figure out how I want to do it. Do I want to do it team-based, or do I want to do it as manufacturer-based? I might do team-based. Well, what I mean by that is I can either structure it as showcasing the same manufacturer but for all teams in one video, or I could do the same team and then show all the different manufacturers for that team. I'm trying to decide how I want to do it. I think either way, it'll come out in the wash, so yeah, it's gonna come out in the wash, so I don't think it really matters. I don't know. I don't know how I want to do it. I guess I could just do a coin flip and see. Because these videos, there's no the commonality between a lot of them is the team. I might do it that way then. I might just do a video with the same team, but all 4 manufacturers, because there's only one car. There's gonna be 16 total special vehicles. There's gonna be 4 for Mappy, 4 for Pierre. Oh shit! No! Wait. I got distracted talking. So yeah, there's 4 special vehicles per manufacturer per team. So there's gonna be 16 special vehicles. But if I do it as the manufacturer, so like let's say Assoluto, the video is gonna be Assoluto, all of the special vehicles for Assoluto. I could do it that way, or I could do all the special vehicles for PRC. So it's gonna be PRC, but it's gonna be all 4 manufacturers. So I don't know how I want to do it. I mean, either or, it's gonna be the same regardless. So I don't know how I want to do it.
3, 2, 1, go!
Actually, now that I think about it, if I do it by team, it'd be kind of boring. Hold on. Actually, no. If I do it by manufacturer, it'd be boring. But if I do it by team, then there's going to be variety. There's going to be a lot of variety in the thumbnail. So that's probably going to be the deciding factors, the thumbnail. Because if it's all the same car, I don't think it's going to be as, you know, people are less likely to click on it if they basically see the same 4 cars on the thumbnail. So I think I actually might do it so instead of doing a video with the same manufacturer for all 4, I might actually do it as a team so there's some variety in the thumbnail. Yeah, that's what I'll do. I'll do it as teams versus manufacturer. Strictly for the fact that it would be a more appealing thumbnail. Oh, wow. So this time I might actually... Yeah, so this is perfect. Actually, no, I'm gonna stay behind him. See, I didn't have to pull over this time. I'm just gonna this is just natural. And it's nice because I was right behind him. I didn't have to guess where he was at. I didn't have to guess where he was. I did not have to guess where he was. Bow, bow, bow. Bow, 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 bow. Second heat.
You've got a new car. Ready?
Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
Real racing. 3, 2, 1, go! Here we go. It's time. 3 laps to go.
Oh, wow. Whoop. I turned in way too early. Gotta wait. Now do it. Yep, that's better. See, for a grip car, especially on that turn, you don't want to turn in too early. As a drift car, yes, you definitely want to turn in early to give the drift time to get started. But as a grip car, you actually want to go into the turn a little bit and then initiate the grip turn, because you'll start to oversteer. There's an insane amount of oversteer on the grip turn. So it's just basically for that turn specifically. There really is no other turn like that in the game that I can think of, where it's a complete essential 180. That would be a hairpin. The closest thing would be Wonder Hill's loop. Yeah, that would be the closest thing to that hairpin in this game, would be Wonder Hill's loop. I mean, you could argue that the nub on Helter Skelter and Out of Blue, that could be considered a hairpin, but that's not a hairpin by definition. That's just a long gradual turn with a little kink at the end. So those are not hairpins. Those are just a very wide gradual turn. That's all it is. A hairpin has to be a very tight 180. Sorry, buddy. I didn't mean to do that. So wait now. Okay, might have been a little bit too late, but do you see how much oversteer there was? If you're going too early, you're gonna slam into the wall, guaranteed. But if you're going too late, then you're gonna run into the other side of the wall. So that is something that you have to keep in mind. Don't catch up yet. Okay, so now's my chance to pass him, and now, bingo. How far away is he? Oh, he's actually not too far. Yeah, they always show the final lap. They don't ever show a second lap unless it's Pantomile, since it's so short. That's the only track where they show both laps, because it's so short. I think they have in the game code. There's probably something that says, like, for the replay, if it's over a minute, if the lap is over a minute, show the final lap. But if the lap is less than a minute, then show the final 2 laps. So, and with Pantomile, it usually is just over a minute. Usually it's between a minute and a minute 10. So damn. hard to believe that this is the final video of the core runs, or at least the final video of the GP runs, Grand Prix runs. What the hell? It drifted? That's strange. A grip car drifted. It's actually pretty common. The AI can basically do whatever the hell they want. Yeah, the AI can pretty much do whatever the hell they want. Whereas you are locked in, as a player, you are locked into whatever driving style the car is. So if it's grip, you're stuck driving grip. If you're drift, you're stuck driving drift. You can't do either or. Actually, with drift cars, you can grip corners. The only problem is you run the risk of drifting. So the only way I've found to properly grip a corner in a drift car is to hold the gas down and hold, and then tap the brake. Or hold it as long as you need to with the gas still pressed down. It's the only way that I've figured out how to make a drift car grip a corner properly. Otherwise, it will initiate a drift. As soon as you take your finger off the gas button and go into a corner, you will drift. So in order to prevent the car from drifting, you keep your finger on the gas and just tap or hold the brake button for as long as you need to make sure you get the proper drift down. Or not drift, proper grip turn down. So... Oh wow, my last lap was 112. Yeah, I was like 114, 114, 112. Look at that. It was pretty close to 113, but I mean, I think my exit speed was pretty good on a lot of turns on the last lap. That's usually what it all comes down to. If you want a good lap times, you need good exit speed. Meaning your speed when leaving a corner. The faster you exit a corner, you know, and the more consistently you can keep that, you know, higher exit speed, the good chance that your times will start going down more and more and more. So it's really your exit speed that's the most important. And speaking of which, in games where there's something called performance points, for games that have performance point restrictions, sometimes you might think, oh, the car with the most horsepower is going to be the best. Not necessarily. I've discovered the one thing you want to look for, especially in games like Gran Turismo 7, where a lot of races are performance point locked, is you want to look at the power to weight ratio. That is what will determine if the car is going to do well. It may not have the most power, but if it's got a decent amount of power with a very, very low weight, you can probably get away with using that car versus the most powerful horsepower number car you have. So a lot of times the higher the horsepower, the heavier the car is going to be. And a lot of the weight comes from the engine. So the more power engine makes, there's a good chance it's probably a V8, a V10, maybe in a V12. So it will make the car very heavy. But if you get a lighter car, there's a good chance the engine may not be as heavy and it may not produce as much power, but you could corner a lot better. The heavier cars cannot corner very well. All because of something called inertia. The moment of inertia of a car with a heavier weight will make it much harder to turn, much harder to negotiate through a course. Versus a lighter car with less power, but because of the lighter weight, the car is easier to throw around, and its moment of inertia is generally pretty low as well. So it's generally pretty stable around corners. But that's not always the case, but that's just something you want to look at. Like, I'll give you an example. There was a race where I did have several cars at my disposal, but I had the Honda 2x4. It wasn't a race car, it's just like, it's a single-seater, or no, it's a double-seater, but it's kind of tuned like a motorcycle. And the competitors, they were all driving cars. And so I tried it out, and I won by such a large margin, even though the car had way less power than all my competitors, but the power to weight ratio was astronomically higher than the rest of them. So I was able to corner faster, I was a lot more stable through the corners. My wheels, my tires didn't spin as much. So it was actually pretty, mind-boggling how easily and how handily I beat the competition just because my car had a much higher power to weight ratio. So then I realized that's the key. Sometimes having the car with the most power is not the answer to winning a race. It's the power to weight ratio. That is the key to efficiently running a race. You may not win, but you can at least be efficient and it would be very comfortable to drive. So power to weight ratio is very, very important. Yeah, power to weight ratio is very, very important in a race. That is definitely a consideration not many people think about. The power to weight ratio. They always think, oh, more power, weight reduction. Well, you have to strike a balance. Sure, you can have a lot of power and you can try to minimize the weight the best you can, but there is a point where you have so much power and so little weight. That it ends up messing up the balance of the car. So,
3 laps.
I mean, this is a bit of an unrelated comparison, but it's just kind of like supply and demand. Just think of a supply and demand graph, where the break-even point is where the supply meets the demand, right? Same thing with cars. Think of the supply as, for example, let's just think of the supply as the horsepower, like the engine or the weight. And let's think of supply as the weight, and then let's think of the demand as the power. Actually, no, let's switch it. So let's assume supply is the horsepower and demand is the weight. There comes a point where you basically reach the break-even point, where the car is at optimum balance. But if you exceed mostly if you exceed the power, like if the power cannot be managed by the weight of the vehicle, then you start to lose, like the car starts to become unbalanced and becomes very dangerous to drive. And I think that was the problem with Group B Rally. The cars were ridiculously powerful. They had like 500, 600 horsepower engines, and they only weighed like 2,000 pounds, which is about, hang on. They had like 500 horsepower, 600 horsepower engines, and the bodies only weighed like 2,000 pounds, maybe even less. For those of you who use metrics, that's about 1 metric ton's worth. Or maybe, I don't know, I think a metric ton's 1,000 kilos, which is approximately 2,200 pounds, I believe. So, so 1 metric ton. You might think like, oh, that's very, very heavy for a car that has 500, 600 horsepower and a body that only weighs like 2,000 pounds. That's extremely light for a car body. That is extremely light for a car body. So you pair those two together, and that's why Group B Rally was so dangerous. why so many people, spectators and drivers alike, lost their lives in Group B rally. Because there was no regulations. It's like, more power, let's wait. And then it ended up to crashes out. So many crashes, so many dead spectators because they kept getting in the way. Like if you watch a Group B rally video, yeah, there were spectators in the street. Like they were on the course until they saw the car coming in and they had to run out of the way. And sometimes the people who were closest to the center of the track, they didn't make it. They got run over by the rally car. Because that's just the way Group B rally was. It was extremely dangerous for both spectator and driver alike. And that's the problem. If you have too much horsepower with too light of a body, then you run the risk of an extremely unbalanced car. It doesn't matter how much aero you put on the car. If the balance of the car is not there, then the car's going to be unbalanced regardless. It doesn't matter how much aero you put on the car. You have to make sure the weight and the power are balanced. There are some anomalies. Like, for example, the Koenigsegg 1-to-1. There's a reason why it's called the 1-to-1. Because the power is equal to the weight. Meaning, well, Koenigsegg is Swedish, so they use the metric system. So it's I think it's got 1,500 horsepower. It's 15. What the hell is that? It's got 1,500 horsepower in a car that weighs 1,500 kilos. So unfortunately, it's 1-to-1 in metric terms. That's not 1-to-1 in imperial terms. So yeah. So here in the US, it'd be basically 1,500 horsepower for 3,000 pounds or something like that. Approximately. Yeah. Actually, it'd be 3,300, I believe. Because you double 1,500, so you get 3,000, and then you take 1,500 and you divide by 5, which is 300, and then you tack it on. So, yeah, the Koenigsegg 1-to-1 is about 3,300 pounds overall, but it's 1,500 kilos. That's why it's called a 1-to-1. But in imperial terms, yeah, it's not 1-to-1. But in metric terms, yes, it is 1-to-1. That's the one of very few cars that have a power to weight ratio of 1. Usually it's 0.01 or 0.015. Some of the better cars are 0.02. At least in imperial terms. Yeah, so if you have a car with a 0.02 power to weight ratio, that's really good. If you get 0.025, that's even better. But yeah, the Koenigsegg 1-to-1 is called 1-to-1 for a reason. I think it's just basically a heavily modified Agera R, Koenigsegg Agera R, or maybe an Agera RS. I think there's an Agera. I know there's an Agera R, and I'm pretty sure there's an Agera RS. It's just heavily modified. So it's got a fully carbon fiber body. And I don't know what kind of engine it has. I'm pretty sure it's a twin turbo V12, I think, or it might be a V8. I'm not 100% sure. I'll look it up here in just a moment, and I'll verify it for you guys. But I'm pretty sure it's a twin turbo V12 and a fully carbon fiber body, where there isn't a single inch of the car that's not carbon fiber, with the exception of like switches and knobs and whatnot. Yeah, I'll look it up here after this, and just so, because I'm curious now. I want to know what kind of engine that 1-to-1 has. Let's let me finish this race real quick. I don't think he's that close because I'm not seeing him in my rear view. And he didn't pull a Tomoyuki Tachi move, so... I'll go ahead and show the replay. That way it gives me time to look it up. Okay, let's see. The Koenigsegg 1-to-1 was presented at the 2014 Geneva Motor Show held in March. Let me see. The car's fitted with a variant of the same 5.0 liter twin turbocharged V8, not V12, V8, used in the other Agera variants. It generates a maximum power output of 1360 PS, 1000 kilowatts, and 1341 horsepower at 75 RPM and 1371 Newton meters or 1011 pound-feet of torque at 6000 RPM. The transmission is a 7-speed dual-clutch paddle shift as used in other variants of the Agera. The name 1-to-1 comes from the power-to-weight ratio, 1360 PS to 1360 kilograms, giving the car the 1 PS per 1 kilogram mass. The 1360 PS power output is the equivalent of 1 megawatt, which Koenigsegg claims make the 1-to-1 the world's first mega car. The car is track focused as opposed to the previous cars made by Koenigsegg, leading to changes such as limited boot space. So yeah, there's also an Agera R and an Agera S. There is no RS model. So there's an R and an S. There's no RS model, unlike the Audi models. Yeah, I just looked it up on Wikipedia. So.
You've got a new card ready.
So it's a 5-liter V8, not V12. Nobody really uses V12s anymore, except like Ferrari and Lamborghini. But even they are starting to go away from a V12. They're using like V10s, and some are even using, you know, high efficiency V8s. So. I mean, I think even Mercedes is starting to get away from using V12s. Because, yeah, Mercedes used to use a lot of V12s in their vehicles. Even their commuter vehicles. And some of their S-classes have V12s and W12s also. Yeah, W12s are a rather odd engine layout. Because there's quite a few different types of engine layouts. There's the most famous or the most well-known are the V6s, V8s, V10s, and V12s. There's no such thing as a V4. There's inline 4s. Now, some people may say, well, Volkswagen had something that looked like a V4, but I do know Volkswagen had something that was supposed to be a V4, but I don't think it actually became that. I could be wrong though, because even if there is a V4, there's probably only one car or maybe two cars in existence that use it. But usually, if it's 4 cylinders, there's 2 layouts. It generally will end up being inline 4 or it will be in a boxer form. for those of you who don't know what a boxer engine is, it's horizontally opposed, and it's trademarked by Subaru. Actually, no. I don't know if Subaru coined the term or if Porsche coined the term. I think Subaru coined the term, but they allowed Porsche to use the name. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Subaru coined the term, they trademarked it, and I think they allowed Porsche. Oh shit, or maybe it might be the other way around. Maybe Porsche coined the term, and then they allowed Subaru to use it. It's one or the other, because Subaru and Porsche both use the horizontally opposed engine, also known as a flat engine, flat 4, or in Porsche's case, a flat 6. Yeah, both Subaru and Porsche use horizontally opposed engines, where the pistons are completely flat. They're not in a V shape, they're not vertical like an inline. They're literally horizontal, like parallel to the road. Yeah, so I'm pretty sure it's Porsche that coined it, and then they allowed Subaru to use the name, I think. Or maybe that term is only used by Subaru, I don't know. Let's try that again. Whoa. Let's go back a bit further. That way I can position myself better. Ah, shoot, I waited too long. That works. Just so I didn't hit him. But yeah, so back to what I was saying after I got off into a tangent. Hold on.
Hey, now a win by the Dig Racing team. Woohoo! This is a shocker, ladies and gentlemen. Who would have thought this could happen? You guys were always the first to come in last place. Everyone thought you guys were all washed up, just dreaming about your past glories. But you really showed us today that you got some of that old fight left in you. Even when everyone wrote you off as a bunch of losers, you really showed them you're still number one. You've earned your bragging rights again. Congratulations, you losers. I mean, the fastest team alive, the Dig Racing Team.
But yeah, so for 4-cylinder variants, it's either inline 4 or boxer engine. Then for 6-cylinder, there's inline 6 and V6. And of course a flat 6. And then you got a V8. There's no flat 8, not that I know of. There's a V10, V12, and then there's a even rarer combination. There's a V16, which from what I've heard is just basically two V8 stuck together. Or you can think of there's one company that took two V6s, put them together to make a V12. But yeah, there is a V16. For those of you who play GTA, if you take a look at your Phantom Wedge, and not just a Phantom Wedge, but just your MOC cab, if you have the long nose, take a look at the door. It says V24 supercharged. That means that's a supercharged 24 piston engine. 24 pistons. That's like 3 V8s, or that's 2 V12s connected together. That's 24 pistons. 24 pistons. It might even have 2 superchargers, one for each engine. I mean, of course, a V24 doesn't exist. Like even Jay Leno's tank car, it uses a tank engine, which might have 24 pistons. I don't know, but yeah, that car's crazy. It's like one of a kind machine. But yeah, so a lot of times when it comes to the V configuration, it's V8, V10, V12, and for the like 5 cars in existence, a V16. There's a 16 cylinder in recent years is more likely to be in a W formation versus a V formation because it's more compact. You can basically have 3 pistons connected to the same section on the crankshaft versus only 2. So you can have more cylinders in a much more compact space. So yeah, so to summarize, in terms of engine layouts, there's inline, there's boxer, there's V, there's W, and I'm pretty sure that's it. So inline, V, W, and boxer. Those are the 4, I guess, current engine layouts. Oh, and one, I cannot believe I forgot this, but the rotary engine. It's not pistons, but it's still an engine layout. So technically there's 5. I, V, W, boxer, and rotary. So aka the Vonkel rotary. But anyway, that is going to conclude today's episode. And not just today's episode, but all episodes, at least in terms of the Grand Prix runs. So I would like to thank all of you for joining me and watching all of these runs as I raged through some of them. Um, but yeah, so always remember, stay crunchy. Don't forget the soy sauce. And as always, thank you for watching, and thanks for being with me on this journey. I'll see you later, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.